The Blood Furnace is the second of the trio of the Hellfire Citadel dungeons. Mobs here give you Honor Hold reputation if you're Alliance, Thrallmar if you're Horde, and just like the Ramparts, up to Honored on normal mode and up to Exalted on Heroic mode. To zone in on Heroic, you'll need the Flame Rod key, which you'll get at the Revered level with those factions. Later on, it'll be nerfed to Honored. Like with all of these videos, this is a guide on Heroic mode, and you'll be seeing footage reflecting that, but you can adapt it to normal if you wish. Everything will just be easier. Geographically, Blood Furnace is the highest level dungeon right here. It's the one without the gate on this long pathway. Blood Furnace, I'd say, is a medium difficulty Heroic, maybe medium hard depending on your composition. It holds some pretty bursty trash mobs, as you'll see, and a Gauntlet boss event which gives groups trouble. Having a little CC will go a long way, just like all of these dungeons. Much like Ramparts, it's comprised primarily of humanoid mobs, so Polymorph, Sap, Seduce, and Mind Control are going to be useful. There are also some demons, so Banish is a nice bonus CC for this place. And here's the Mind Control roundup for any priests out there. This dungeon starts off with a bang, with a room loaded with Adepts. These guys do a lot of damage. They have an ability called Thrash, which will give them 2 extra attacks, so 3 total, and they already hit very hard. They will insta-give tanks and cause people to look up Blood Furnace Heroic Guide, only to be greeted by the living embodiment of Microsoft Sam, and be forced to make a decision of, do I continue wiping in this dungeon, or do I listen to this text-to-speech program tell me what I'm doing wrong? Well, what you're doing wrong is you're not CCing. If you have more than one of these guys attacking you, all it takes is both of them using Thrash at once. So my advice whenever you get these packs with 2 of these is to CC one of them and kill the other. They also kick spells, so don't stand near them. And they'll also be accompanied by an imp, which is more of a nuisance than anything else, but it is banishable if you want to focus on the Adepts. There are a few packs here. Remember, the entrance is right there, so if you're having trouble, you might want to consider dragging them back to the entrance while you're at it, in case something does go wrong. And while you're over there at Weenie Hut Jr., you may as well bring me back a Happy Meal. We do have a trash skip here. The pack to the furthest right, if you hug the wall, you can just sneak right by. And heading up the stairs, you'll encounter your first stealth rogues. They slip these in here and there in these heroics, and they do rogue things. They sneak up on you, poison you. By themselves, they're not bad, but if you get them with a normal pull and they catch you by surprise, you can tell your friends that even NPC rogues are bullshit. You'll find them at the top of the stairs, and some more adept packs. Same concept applies here. Big damage on tank, CC or stun what you can. There is a Warlock patrol as well, and I recommend grabbing that first and getting it out of the way. These guys will just do Warlock things like the Curse of Tongues, so decurse that right away. They'll throw out dots and buff allies. They are interruptible and susceptible to cast slows, like the Curse of Tongues, as you can see. The Laughing Skull Legionnaires, the 2-handed dudes, are worth noting as well because they have sweeping strikes. They also enrage at low health, and you'll see these guys from now on, so if you're melee, just be mindful of that and stay away from them if your healer can't afford the spare mana. And after this room is another danger spot. You have 2 packs of 3 with Adepts, Casters, and another pesky Warlock patrol. It's very easy to pull this whole room, so definitely pull them back into the hallway and try to CC them there. A new type of mob called Summoners will appear here. As their name implies, they summon, so don't let them do that ideally. They're interruptible, tonguesable, surely in more ways than one. What typically wipes people here is that she'll be pulling 2 Adepts, and then the Summoner will get a demon out because he didn't interrupt. Everyone will panic, split damage, forget CC, and die, so just go slow is my advice here. If you have a Warlock, banish or enslave any extra demons. Don't let 2 Adepts beat up on your tank, and try to snag the patrol by itself at an opportune time. The next room is a large open area with a new mob type, the Technician. These have a silence, so be careful if your healer gets it, and they'll also lay mines in the ground, which when stepped on will damage you and everyone around you. Pretty substantial too. Thousands of AoE damage, so you don't want to end up like Lieutenant Dan. If they're standing in your way after a pull, a rogue can disarm them, or you can have your hunter use Eyes of the Beast to pop it, else just have your tank do some advanced disarming techniques solo, and then top him or her off. The pulls here aren't too bad though, and soon you'll face the first boss, the Maker, who's named that because he makes my job easy here because he's pretty much a gimme. He throws a vial at you that deals AoE damage and knocks you up. It is AoE, so spread out. He has a 10-second mind control, so drop a CC on that player, and don't kill them unless it's really funny. After this though, you'll have quite the hallway to clear. The best way to do it is to pull everything into the giant room you just cleared, because there will be technicians, and small enclosed areas with mines isn't a very fun combination, so pull them back into the big room if you can. Try to get your CCs off in the big room, as there's a patrol down this hallway that you will aggro if a CC breaks at an inopportune time. There is a new mob type here as well, the Nascent Felorcs, who have a 5-second stun, but other than that, they're nothing too special. Make sure that you grab the rogue on the left, don't aggro him during a normal pull, and once you're about halfway down the hallway, just fight there, and use the real estate that you just cleared if you start getting overwhelmed by mines. There will be another patrol deeper in this hallway, so keep track of them and grab them at an opportune moment. There's also another rogue at the end of this hallway who you should kill. Afterwards is another big room with mostly triple packs and a patrol. Ideally, you fight the first pack in the hallway that you just cleared, and then you move into the room and clear the other packs one by one. The next boss is the giant eyeball Brogok, but he's locked behind a gate and a lever will stand in your way. Pulling it opens not the gate in front of you, but rather 4 consecutive gates surrounding the room with packs of 3 and 4 Felorc nascent groups. This is the Gauntlet Fight that I mentioned earlier, and it will be a pug ender, as you'll need to start from scratch each time you wipe. It's really demoralizing to wipe here, but the best way to handle it is to CC, kite, CC, and kite. This is a giant room, and you need to make use of it, so frost traps, mage roots and slows, polymorphs. You have full reign to fear here as you please, so if you're warlock, make sure Hall of Terror is on your bar. Warriors use Intimidating Shout, Priest Psychic Scream. As you can see, I'm also using a Succubus, which I do recommend for any warlocks running dungeons, at least when they have humanoid mobs in them. These guys do have an Enrage, where they get increased attack speed and become immune to CC, but not slows. The last 2 gates are also 4 packs, so your tank shouldn't just be face tanking 4 enraged Felorcs. But really, just try your best to CC or slow, chip away at them, and repeat it 3 more times. Once you clear all 4 cells, the boss will spawn, so if you're on death's door or you feel like you don't have enough mana, you can just CC the last orc and prepare yourself physically and mentally for the One-Eyed Willy. And luckily, he's a pushover compared to the Gauntlet that you just beat. He does a cone slime spray, so face him away, and he'll also create fart clouds like Robulus and Nax if you manage to clear up to him in the ultimate test of skill known as Vanilla Classic rating. And he'll also shoot out AoE poison bolts that'll leave a dispellable poison effect. You'll next have another big room with some of the same packs and patrols. If you stick to the right, you'll skip the most amount of trash. You'll have a rogue in this corner, so take him out first so he doesn't sneak up on you during a pull. You'll also encounter new Fel Guards accompanying the Warlocks. These are banishable, so it's a pretty easy area if you do have a Warlock. They are enslavable on normal mode, but not on Heroic. They also have an interrupt, so don't stand near them. Eventually you'll have this AoE pack here with a bunch of imps, and the easiest way to handle it is to pull them around the corner and AoE. At the bottom of the ramp is a pretty tight room with even bigger Fel Guards, also banishable. These ones will randomly charge party members and then knock them up and aggro dump, and when that happens, just let the tank pick them back up. Very annoying mobs to tank in general. Clear the room, and you're ready for the boss. Going along with the theme with the other bosses, he's not too bad. You start off by pulling all of the warlocks around the corner in the room that you just cleared. AoE him, AoE stun, interrupt. Once you clear him, the big dude will go after you. He'll throw out AoE corruption, dispel it if you can, and he also does shadow bolt volleys, so lots of AoE damage on this one. Shadow damage at that, so if you have a priest or a paladin, make sure that they're running their shadow resist abilities. And something that I think like 1% of the population knows about is the Rage of Magtheridon buff. On the edges of the room are these fissures that give you a 30-second heroism basically. The reason why it's not really well known is because it's not really needed, as the boss melts anyway. But there's a tip for those building up your heroic dungeon parses, I guess. This was eventually removed from the game though, so I'm unsure of how they'll be handling it in the re-release. But more importantly, every now and then he'll suck everyone in, and try to find a sapper charge in his bags. If you're near him when he finds it, you will get one shot, and the range is deceptively large, as you can see my poor lab rat, party member helps me demonstrate. But other than that, it's pretty much the fight. It's not too bad. And that's the Blood Furnace from start to finish. The Gauntlet event is probably the hardest part of it, so just pay attention there and kite if you need to. This is a big place, so use the room that they give you and you'll do fine. This is my second in a series of guides where I cover each and every heroic in the Burning Crusade Classic. And if you enjoyed it or you found it helpful, I'll have a playlist to the rest in the description that you may find handy, as well as general tips and tricks that you can use in all heroics in the game. Like the video if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Farewell for now, mortals. We hope you enjoyed today's video. See you again soon.